Andrew Jones here, and yes, I'm Alex Jones' cousin, but I don't have his alcoholic damaged voice. We're at Bohemian Grove fucked up cult ceremony to prove my cousin right.
Why are you wearing robes and freaky masks?
We're literally so rich and powerful we crave fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had 2 guys hunt each other to death.
What the hell is happening right now?
A normal initiation ceremony for the super rich and powerful that involves the planning of global pandemics and assassinations.
How pissed were you guys when you missed Trump 3 times?
Did Epstein or Maxwell convince you get on the plane to come here?
Yeah, we're actually part of the catering company. Next week, Google is having their corporate retreat here.
And which firm or bank are you with?
The Clinton Foundation.
Guys, please hold off on turning the frogs gay. I just want to get a few questions in to the lizard people. You went with your true form today, and what's your plan for world destruction? I'm the governor of California.
When will the next war start?
Well, we've already started World War III, and the Civil War is tracking right on schedule.
And what does human flesh taste like?
Well, there you have it, folks. Everyone here is sick, twisted, and demented. Fortunately for us, they completely control the world and influence our everyday lives.
Nothing to see here. Go back to sleep. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try-F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And today, we've got a special guest, Mr. Greg Varner. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am so excited to learn about the lizard people. Trevor.
You like it, and you know it.
That is a lie. That is a lie. So, yes, today...
You want to hear about them. Don't tell me otherwise.
Oh, I've already heard them from David Icke. He's like, the lizard people are real. So, or however you do a horrible Cockney accent. So, anyway.
I want to clear something up first. A few weeks ago, I heard you say on the podcast that I was really into Tartaria. And I just want to clarify, I hate Tartaria with a passion. This theory...
What is Tartaria?
Up the
that
wall.
makes me so happy to hear.
Okay,
Man.
so Greg, you have to explain to poor Trevor what Tartaria is.
What is Tartaria?
That's quite a question. There's a lot to unpack with what Tartaria is. That probably needs to be like a whole segment or something.
Okay, we could do a whole segment if you like. Tartaria is something that Greg hates. That's what you need to know.
So next week we're going to do Tartaria.
It's a conspiracy that I hate.
I don't want to do Tartaria.
You don't?
No Tartaria?
Well, unfortunately for you, it's going to be like the Flat Earth series. Like just 3 weeks of Flat Earth over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's like people see an old building and they're like, wow, I couldn't think about how to build that. It looks really impressive. And so then they put some kind of magical theory behind it.
Yeah,
They were like, it was actually buried in
Imagination.
300 years ago, and we just dug it out of the mud. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
It's a lot of conjecture, and I think it's all silly. So
Yeah. Well, either way, I stand corrected.
Makes me angry.
I stand corrected. Greg hates Tartaria. He is in no way, shape, or form affiliated with Tartaria. He does not believe in it at all.
I can't believe you defamed your brother like that.
I know. It's like...
I think the Bible preaches against that, Gary.
I know. I should have just accused him of, like, assaulting somebody in an erotic manner since we're on YouTube. So... All right. So our first episode for tonight is we are going to be talking about the lizard people. All right, we're going to start off with that because Trevor is interested in lizard people. And then after that, we are going to continue our refutation of Micahel, who I usually enjoy, but he's got my blood pressure up with this Dr. Brown video, and so we're just going to keep wading through it. And I posited a thesis question to be considered last week for this week. That is, why did I, someone who absolutely cannot stand Dr. Micahel Brown, have had issues with him for many a year, why did I start the video wanting to dance on Dr. Micahel Brown's defamed grave, and then end up going, this guy's getting railroaded? What was it exactly about that video that changed my mind?
Because you posited.
Because he what?
Because you posited it.
Because I posited it? That wasn't
Anyway.
lag. That was just you. I don't know what was going on there. So, no, I wanted to explore why I wound up flipping from feeling very bad for Dr. Micahel Brown. You know, I started out not liking him. Now I feel bad for him. What cues, what little social cues, what things were said that caused me to flip my opinion? Because I was telling you guys before the show, I tried to watch through it again today.
Mhm.
I couldn't. I tried to watch it with Jess because I felt, you know, given the subject matter, I needed a woman's perspective, and neither one of us could finish it. We couldn't get through like 2 sentences without yelling at Captain Soul Patch. So
Okay, I forgot about that.
so I wanted to explore it with you enlightened gentlemen as to why me, who does not like Micahel Brown, wound up being his advocate at the end of the video. So that'll be the second subject. Thirdly, I guess we're going over anger with Jesse Lee Peterson, whether or not that's a good thing. And then if we
I got a dad joke to go with that one, so.
oh gosh, I thought we'd killed that bit. You know, we'd driven it
bit?
to the ground. The dad jokes. We'd driven it to the ground.
Oh.
Now it's like it was finished, but apparently you've got more. Great. So we might end the night with Tataria a little bit if we could get to it. So, all
If you're
right.
lucky.
No.
No. Okay. Well, I'm just throwing things out there, seeing what sticks. It's all shit. It sticks well enough. Okay, so let's get started with reptile people. So, Mr. Trevor, you're going to have to explain this to me. What are we watching here first? I've got something that looks like a cheap Jurassic Park window up. So what is this?
Who's that from?
I don't know. It says, today I found out who started the lizard people conspiracy theory.
Skip the intro and go. It's like 2:45.
Okay, 2:45. Today I found out about Squareface space.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's gonna explain where they came from,
Okay.
how the whole thing got started.
Okay. How the whole thing got started. Great. Here we go.
The most prominent two being that they are here for our gold, and alternatively, that they feed on negative energy from humans, particularly given off when we're afraid, angry, or just generally anxious.
Those are demons. So lizard people are demons? Is this going to be like the interdimensional alien thing?
I hope so.
Okay. Great.
Thus, they wish to create an Orwellian world government system in order to more easily manipulate our collective emotions for their own sustenance. This now brings us to who actually first came up with the modern
demons.
idea
They
of these
harvest
reptilian
emotion.
overlords in the first place. While, as noted, sentient reptilians of some form or another have seemingly been around in human legend for as long as we've been humaning, one of the earliest and most influential references of lizard people in more modern times can be found in Robert E. Howard's 1929 story The Shadow Kingdom, published in the pulp magazine Weird Tales. Not coincidentally, these beings are shockingly similar to the modern perception of lizard people. In a nutshell, the story involves ancient, shape-shifting reptilian humanoids with elaborate underground abodes who work in the shadows to rule humanity, including via infiltrating various groups and using mind control to influence world politics. This and subsequent works by Howard would go on to popularize some version of these lizard people, including in works by a close friend of his, H.P. Lovecraft. The concept caught on from here and has shown no signs of stopping in science fiction since. Noteworthy here, for reasons we'll get to in a bit, is one individual, Mystic Correspondence School founder Maurice Doreal, who would seemingly be inspired by Howard's lizard people when creating many written works for his followers, most notably the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. Except in Doreal's case, he would use these science fiction characters to create a supposed real history of Earth that incorporates reptoids.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this correctly. So number one, Billy Carson got the Emerald Tablets from Pulp Fiction. Did I hear that correctly, or am I not paying enough attention?
I think so.
It was a joke and it fell flat. Okay.
Yeah, I missed it, bud. Sorry.
Billy Carson, remember Billy Carson, Mister who came up
Oh,
with the
you're
side?
calling this guy from 1928 Billy Carson?
No, I'm saying he got the I'm asking, did he get the idea of the emerald tablets from this Pulp Fiction dude? Did I hear that correctly?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Nobody's listening. Okay.
I'm not sure what the emerald tablets are. I've heard them referenced, but I don't actually know what they are.
Apparently, they're a Pulp Fiction invention.
Pulp Fiction? No, they're from Thoth.
Thoth, who is a Pulp Fiction character? Or do you know who Thoth is?
No, Thoth is a god.
Well, I know
Like
that's what
Egyptian
he's...
or something? What-
Yeah,
I've heard the name.
he's supposed to be like an Egyptian god. I'm thinking there's something else going on here. But I don't know. I'm an idiot. So... I'm just interested, like, okay, so let's see. So are we getting at the idea that David Icke stole the lizard people from Robert E. Howard, who made up Solomon Kane and Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like David Icke. Anyway, sorry, I should be nice. I don't know the man. He could be perfectly sincere.
As factual beings, because I mean, sure, why not? Another notable incident that helped spread the idea of lizard people occurred in 1934 and 1935 when one G. Warren Shufelt was looking for gold in California. To aid in his endeavor, Shufelt invented a device that he claimed used radio X-rays to see deep into the earth and was apparently able to be used to find precious metals like gold as well. Of course, his device didn't actually use X-rays, but rather used a common dowsing pendulum, as described in a January 29, 1934 edition.
Just for clarity, I think the guy's actually trying to make the case that people who believe in the reptilians are citing Robert E. Howard. I think that's what what he's actually getting at. All jokes aside. So he's actually accusing people of getting the idea from Pulp Fiction. I was just assuming he was being unbiased. Apparently, I'm the idiot. So
I've never seen Pulp Fiction.
So he just said something, a dowsing pendulum?
Yeah, he's got a dowsing pendulum thing here.
Have you ever doused before?
I think it's got occult roots, doesn't it?
No, it's just magnetism.
It's just magnetism? Okay.
Yeah, in my opinion. I think it's pretty cool.
Is it like water witching?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, okay. I've tried water witching a few times. I haven't been able to find crap, so...
Yeah.
I'm the crappiest water witch ever.
I think it's kind of spiritual, in a manner of speaking.
Well, I must be spiritually dead.
You gotta be... gotta be dialed in. Have your piano tuned.
My piano tuned?
Yeah.
My piano's in drop D, baby.
You gotta...
All right, here we go. We've really got to figure out this lag, gentlemen. Somebody is lagging hard.
Of the Los Angeles Times, quoting here.
Greg's freezing up, and I don't know if we're having issues with the audio on YouTube. Is somebody watching YouTube, by the way, to make sure we're not?
Kelly, do you have your headphone? Can you check the stream?
I've got it on my phone, but I can't check it well.
See if the audio's okay.
Because, yeah, I'm looking at my stats are saying they're pretty solid, so...
Okay, we seem to be better now.
It's audio's okay.
Audio's okay? Okay, good. So there's that. All right, so Los Angeles Times, Shuffit radio device consists chiefly of cylindrical glass case inside of which...
This is chiefly a cylindrical glass case inside of which a plummet attached to a copper wire held by the engineer sways continually, pointing, he asserts, toward minerals or tunnels below the surface of the ground, and then revolves when over mineral or swings in prolongation of the tunnel when above the excavation. Using the device, the Times piece reveals a rather astounding discovery made by Shufelt. Busy Los Angeles, although little realizing it in the hustle and bustle of modern existence, stands above a lost city of catacombs filled with incalculable treasure and imperishable records of a race of humans further advanced intellectually and scientifically than even the highest type of present-day peoples. Shufelt himself goes on of this discovery. I knew I was over a pattern of tunnels, and I had mapped out the course of the tunnels, the position of large rooms scattered along the tunnel route, as well as the position of deposits of gold, but I couldn't understand the meaning of it. Shufelt made a breakthrough however, when he came across a Hopi Native American who went by the name of Little Chief Greenleaf, as well as El Macklin. Shufelt claims that Greenleaf told him about 5,000 years ago in Hopi history it speaks of lizard people who built vast underground cities in the region, recording their own history on gold tablets. Hearing this story, Shufelt connected the dots and believed he had found one of these cities, and could prove it because within the chambers he found, to quote, gold tablets with perfect corners, sides and ends, scientific proof of the gold's existence. Of course, given that he was using nothing more than a dowsing pendulum, it's not really clear how he could have detected anything, let alone gold tablets hundreds of feet below the Earth's surface. And we're not really sure how claiming you found gold is scientific proof of binding gold, but he was happy to take investors' money to pursue the dig. On that note, with the story being published in newspapers across the country, Shufelt was able to both garner city support for the project in exchange for 50% of any gold found, as well as get sufficient money from investors to start excavating. Unfortunately for his investors, as often happens when you dig deep holes, the result is eventually encountering water, with the project ultimately stopping at a depth of about 350 feet because of this complication. While Shufelt had thus successfully accomplished drilling a well, sadly he did not manage to find any buried treasure. As to what happened to him after, he doesn't appear to have used his radio X-ray device on any other projects and more or less disappeared from history, other than it being recorded that he died in California in 1957. As to the Hopi legends that he used to garner so much support for his project, it should be noted here that while this story is often used as support of the existence of the lizard people, beyond the fact that no such tunnels were ever found, it is explicitly noted in accounts from Shufelt at the time that these were humans who simply used the lizard as their symbol. And indeed, while there is no known Hopi legend about literal lizard people, it was common for the Hopi to have clans that used animal names, such as a bear clan, a spider clan, and, most pertinent to the topic at hand, yes, there really was a lizard clan. As the rest of the story concerning underground cities and technologically advanced peoples, there is no known reference to this in any surviving Hopi legends. Of course, given their history was passed down orally,
Is he talking about Hopi?
Yeah.
I think he means Hopi Native Americans, yeah. I'm just wanting to translate the British correctly. So, anyway. Okay.
Oh, I'm blowing me, mate.
Whenever somebody claims to find gold tablets, like, just, it doesn't go well.
Yeah. Rule of thumb, ignore the guy who said he found gold tablets.
Yeah, we can move on to the next video if you want.
Can you? Well, okay, we will, but just let's just appreciate the stupid, because that's a good point. Who would be dumb enough to write anything on a gold tablet to preserve it? Obviously, it's going to be melted down, and nobody's going to remember what the crap was said. So, anyway.
Good point.
Okay, moving on. All right, Lizard People Part 2, Alternate Reality.
So, this one kind of explains, it's just got another story of where they came from.
Okay, great.
He started at 2, it's like right at 2 on this one.
Right at 2, okay. Exposing Satan.
Into lizard form. According to believers, most prominent politicians, business people, and celebrities are secretly reptiles.
So the core tenets of the reptile alien conspiracy theory are that a group of lizard-like humanoid aliens, often said to be from the planet Alpha Draconis, came to Earth in ancient times and have either intermarried with humans or simply taken human form in order to pose as our leaders and take control of the human race. And if we step out of line, they murder us.
That's how much Bill Gates is a reptilian. He was just shape-shifting, growing a big-ass long tail.
And online, lizard hunters scour images of famous...
Do we think Bill Gates is a reptilian?
He could be. Who knows?
He always struck me to look like an armadillo.
Yeah, kind of does.
I don't know. I'm just saying, it's a little weird. I really don't understand this reptilian thing at all. I'm usually pretty open-minded about almost everything, but the reptilian thing, I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. I can't.
Yeah, it's conspiracy theory all the way.
mean, I will give it some credit because the Bible says that Satan is a dragon. So if he were to have henchmen, they would be a little lizardy.
Yeah. Yep.
That's true. That's true.
And it seems like they're, method of operation, what they're trying to get done, mirrors what demons do as far as the screw tape letters go.
Yeah.
And they're underground where we walk on top of.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems
It just
ridiculous.
seems a little too silly to be demons.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I mean, I just don't know what the point would be. It's like, oh, they're disguised as people and they put on skin suits and they can't hold their form, and so you get flickers of them sometimes.
Speaking of not being able to hold their form, that's what the next video is. It's just videos of showing that people are lizard people, like Katy Perry.
Oh my goodness.
She's a lizard being, huh?
Yeah.
Because that's what they're after, obviously. I mean, it's... All right, okay, I gotta close these other two out to try to fight the lag. We're at war flag. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Now these are recordings of
these are not recordings. These are AI.
Of what people think people are lizard people.
Masters of space travel. They can't figure out contacts.
Are reptilian shapeshifters real? Is the media being controlled by them? Let's talk about this and more only in today's video.
Aussie.
Oh, right.
Too soon?
Theories is that a lot of news reporters are actually reptilians. So let's take a look at this video.
Can't tell me you ain't see that.
Bro, that looked pretty legit. The dude's eyes literally just shape-shifted on live TV. Like, you were caught, bud. You were doing...
What do you
That's
think,
creepy.
CGI? What is that?
Well, it's a live feed, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, everything on the internet is real. Did you know?
Well, it kind of looks like a reptile eye. I guess.
I mean, I believe in physiognomy, but I don't know about this.
Dude, I know it
What
hurts
is-
your brain a little bit, but you got to go down the rabbit hole. We're committed to the truth.
What is physiognomy?
The silly, silly, ridiculous truth.
It's the Pinocchio effect.
What were you gonna say, Greg?
The only one I'm willing to believe is a reptile would be like Nancy Pelosi.
I do believe she has a cauldron in her basement.
That's probably true.
And she just melts money because of all those stocks. She's got to like hide their funds and stuff. So, it's like, all right, here we go. She's conjuring up stock predictions. That's what it is.
Something fishy there, and I don't like that at all.
No, not right now. Then why should they buy one of ours? Why not? Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market. Very, very well. Clarice. Clarice. Clarice.
Dude, no normal...
He hissed! Proof!
Oh no, he hissed.
He hissed. Oh my goodness.
Sure.
Snake.
Not an audio thing.
What? We got an audio thing?
No, he had an audio thing.
Yes.
Oh, the hiss. Okay. All right, let's see here. What we got here?
Person hisses at someone when they're like bothered. If I'm getting in a fight, I'm not going... I don't even know how you did it. Like,
It's a pretty good strategy, though, to be honest.
Just hiss at people.
Yeah, just hiss at him. It's like
It does scare people when you do just weird stuff like that.
yeah, you're like, what is this guy? Is he gonna shank me? Oh man.
Somebody comes up to you with a gun and you take all your clothes off.
The reptilian or he's on bath salts. One of the two.
Yeah. Anything could happen. Oh man.
Like, that is straight up something a reptilian would do. You got caught again on live TV. That kind of makes sense if reporters are reptilians and they're controlling our narrative in the media.
Ooh.
Conspiracy.
She's onto something.
Oh yeah.
She is.
Oh yeah. I feel my paradigm is shifting, guys.
My mind is blown.
John Coco, 7 New, today New England.
A Massachusetts state. Look, I'm not.
Okay, even if that was a bad effect, that was okay. That was a pretty good effect. That's pretty good. It's like a B. That's a good Photoshop thing there. All right. Give a B for somebody.
Another news reporter. What is with his eyes? They've straight up changed, like, and flashed back to his reptilian.
Yeah, that was such bad. Guys, I do Adobe Premiere. I'm telling you, that's such crap. It was literally like a yellow mask with a fade in. Don't even start with me.
Eyes. They were a fully different color as well. I don't like this. I'm getting so sussed out. And there's also another theory that
Sussed out.
That's sus, bro.
I'm old. I don't know what
That's
else to
so-
say. It's like, wow,
that's
I'm
so
dying.
Riz.
I'm dying.
So Riz Sigma.
It's so
boy.
Riz Sigma. It's sus is, I don't even know.
That's mid.
Mid. Oh my gosh. when are full words gonna come back in style? I'm still waiting.
Never.
Never. Yeah.
My son's over here cracking up because he said Riz Sigma.
Oh, this is a good part.
Oh, this is Casey. All
either
right.
a reptilian or she is being possessed by the devil or both. Because take a look at this.
Guys, that was the COVID shot. That's not the reptilian. I remember when that happened. They were like, oh, everything's fine. And then she goes out and does this concert and starts spazzing out. And she does it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, that's the vaccine. Trust the science. We're gonna get that eye work. All right, we're just gonna stick with nope. Okay, there. Nope. Nope.
Her eye
Okay.
literally malfunctioned on stage, and she was like,
No Fauci eye.
"That's normal."
I'm sorry, I'm just having flashbacks. It's like everything is fine, and then people were just keeling over.
It's the science.
Oh, precious memories, how they linger. All right.
Even if that was a part of her act, like, why? And then take a look at this clip of her on stage, and she gets really tired, and she's like, "Master, I don't feel so well." Master! You know, there's a whole theory that, like,
I think that was part of her act.
It kind of looked that way.
Yeah. But if she does have a master, it's the CIA. Just saying. So,
For sure.
just the CIA.
celebrities sacrifice someone or do some weird rituals so that they can become famous, and people think that Katy Perry did that so she could become famous, and now she's being controlled by
did she actually fall?
like Satan or something, and she's like, "Master, I don't feel so." Watch out for.
She collapsed too. That might also be the other COVID thing. Sorry, the jibby jab. Shot felt around the world. Whatever we're calling it. I don't know.
The shot heard around the world.
Shot heard around the world. Yeah.
So I actually thought about this the other day, like how celebrities have to sacrifice somebody in their family, you know?
I don't
You've
know
heard
that. I have not heard
You
that.
haven't heard that?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. Well, most people, like, when they get famous, like within that month or whatever, when they really blow up, like somebody in their family dies or something.
That wouldn't surprise me. It's all blackmail racket crap.
Right. But it's like it's karmic balance almost, because like the whole principle that I live by is like your ego should die daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't do that, when you build your ego, that energy has to come from somewhere else, right? And so you're like, your ego is sucking the life out of the people around you. And so when you get super famous like that, somebody actually like dies. You know what I mean? It's like a balance thing.
I think it's the CIA going, "You're on candid camera. Here's a butcher knife."
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I will have to discuss that at some other point, I guess. But yeah, no, I just think it's all blackmail and, you know.
That's why I find like Michael Jackson, like his whole case, like a lot of these people, when they like leave, they start seeing through the illusion and they leave Hollywood or wherever, right?
Right.
Like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, because their ego is so powerful that it like has to publicly die, or, they have to disappear and, disassociate from their ego.
They got to reverse the whole thing, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty interesting.
That Michael Jackson thing is weird. I don't know. Does that count as folklore? Do we need to go over that at some point?
Have you seen what's that guy's name? There's a guy that got pretty popular for a minute. I can't remember his name right now. But he did a documentary on Michael Jackson, and his theory was that Michael Jackson, they set up that whole court case. It wasn't even real. Like, it was all fake. And Michael Jackson isn't really dead, but he had to stage all that.
In the words of Luke Skywalker, none of us are ever really gone, especially in the world of conspiracy theories. So. All right.
Let's see if I can remember his name.
They're all in Argentina.
And you know what's always among us? Reptilians!
Reptilians.
That's all we got for this episode, guys. We're moving on. I can't do this. I'm sorry if this was disappointing, but I can't do this. They're really below us, yes. Underneath us, looking up in envy and hunger. And
the way to get in is through Antarctica.
Oh, okay. Yes, we have to enter in through Antarctica. But they can snatch you from your bed. I don't know. Sleep well.
Which part of
Exactly
Antarctica?
where cold-blooded reptiles would want to live.
Yeah, that's true. Why would the reptilians have their door in Antarctica? That's a good point. No wonder they didn't roll the planet. They're stupid. So. All right, guys, if you're still on the live stream, stay with us. We're moving on to part 2 as best we can. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Deuces.
Deuces.
But don't leave because we're still alive.
Yeah, don't leave.
We are still alive.
We are still alive. Okay, moving on to part 2. So does anybody want to sign us in besides me?
I will.
Go for it.
Welcome to the I messed up.
Failure.
Restart. Take 2.
Take 2.
Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or the Tri-F podcast, as we like to call it, and as we've already done. Wait, I messed up again, Gary.
Go.
I'm crashing this. All right,
Strike 3.
Take things.
Get focused. Go.
Take 3.
Focus.
Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Tri-F podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up, like I just did twice.
3 times.
Yay, you did
it. Today we are talking about some pervy old preacher and some other guy that's just being ridiculous about it.
Mike
and then Mike Winger, who's like, I want to get in on this drama, so.
That's why I had you sign us in. That was a excellent summation. All right.
Drove for days.
Here we go. So for those of you who are not familiar with this is technically part 2.
Technically.
And so I guess I need to key this up a little bit again. So basically, whenever this video first came out, me in my shame, I decided to watch this video by Mike Winger to dance on Dr. Michael Brown's shame, as it were. Because I'm not a fan of Dr. Michael Brown. He has irritated me for many a year.
Michael Brown. Who is Michael Brown?
Dr. Michael Brown is a famous Pentecostal preacher. He is most well known for, I believe it's objections to the Jewish Jesus, I believe is what it's called. It's a fantastic, actually, let me just Google it. That'd be easier. I feel like it would be stupid if I didn't actually Google it. I want to get this right, so hang on a minute. But
you are not stupid.
Well, thank you, Trevor. You're always so supportive and so kind. So give me 30 seconds here.
That's what she said.
Good one.
That is hateful. You guys are so hateful. Why? Okay.
What does hateful mean?
It's not going to give me.
Later.
Okay, here we go. So here's a book that he did. He had a YouTube series based on the book, but this'll work. Excuse me. I'm a professional. Okay. So answering Jewish objections to Jesus, Messianic Prophecy Objections, Volume 3, paperback. So Micahel Brown he's a Messianic Jew, and he's a Pentecostal. So he got famous for dealing with a lot of the Jewish refutations to Christianity. And he's been around for many a year, had a radio show, podcast, all the rest of it. Annoys me very much. I used to listen to him, and then he got on my nerves, and I quit listening to him. And so,
why?
Well, that's a long story. There's like several reasons. It's like I'd have to pick an event. It doesn't matter. The point is, I wanted to dance on this guy's shame, and then by the end of the video, I'm going, this guy's getting railroaded. This is an injustice. And so I wanted to go over this video with you guys in the first part to basically see if I'm crazy. And I wanted to explore the question, why did I flip? Why did someone like me, who was very hostile to Micahel Brown in the beginning, flip? What is it about this guy's story that made me change my mind? Even though this is supposed to defend the accusations against Micahel Brown. All right, Cody, go with your theory. What do you think? Why do you think I've flipped my opinion?
Because this guy is like the spawn of Satan. He's just like lying through his teeth constantly. And he has a soul patch. And you're just like...
The soul patch is a tell.
It's like the lies are like, oh, I don't like this guy, like you can just tell when it's a lie. It's your body reacting to his language, even though you don't care.
Right. I believe this guy's name is Ron Cantor, I believe. I'm trying to...
His name is Uncle Cracker.
His name
Did you make the decanter?
His name... Decanter? I don't see it. All right, Ron Cantor, I think's the guy's name. Yeah, here we go. Ron Cantor. There we go. All right, so Jess had a good point, though. I do, because she watched last week's episode, and I wanted to end on this because this kind of sums up the first part of the video. She was like, what was bothering her was the fact that he would subtly humble brag while complaining about this guy. He's like, I can't believe this guy held a woman's hand. I learned about it while I was in Israel.
Well, I was in Israel.
And everybody's like, well, that's a random detail to throw in there. He's like, when I got back from my prayer meeting and learned about Micahel Brown touching that girl's keister, I couldn't talk for 3 days. It's like, why are you mentioning the prayer meeting? I was so offended. So it's like he's always sneaking in these humble brags.
Yeah.
He was like, I fell out of my seat.
Oh yeah. Jess was like, this is ridiculous, because she's like, there's literally a medical diagnosis. At one point he goes, I couldn't speak for 3 days in my apartment. I couldn't speak. My wife asked me what was wrong.
Such a stupid thing to say.
And I'm like, you mean men are perverted? And that shocked you for 3 days? You couldn't even talk to your wife? And she was like, this guy's so full of crap.
It's like, what are you, a eunuch?
Yeah, apparently he's a eunuch. Yeah, so Captain Soul Patch is here to save us from the perversions of the male gender. So
he'd be like, follow me, everything is all right.
Oh gosh, you're gonna...
I'll be the one to hold your hand.
No, copyright. So, okay, all right. So that's a good summation of part one. Is this guy seemed very dubious because of his humble brags and his soul patch. So we're gonna move on.
Moving forward.
I just couldn't fathom that these were true. So I got a hold of him.
I know.
About 3 days later, and I said, Mike, I am dreading. And by the way, all these emails can be read. What I wrote, his responses to me.
Not
I
from
brought 2 more
Hillary
people,
Clinton.
Matthew 18 in Brown.
Focus,
Oh,
Trevor.
sorry.
All right.
Report, brownwitnessreport.com. I reached out.
Okay, remember that. We might end up looking this up before the end of this video. brownwitnessreport.com.
Back it up so I can write it down.
brownwitnessreport.com. TM.
Site.
brownwitnessreport.com.
How do you spell .com?
I hate you.
Thank you. Okay, it's written down.
Okay, thank you.
Even though I'll forget, I wrote it down.
Of course you will. That's all right. Moving on.
To Mike, and I said, Mike, this is an email I don't want to write you.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
dreading, but you're my friend, and I don't know if you know, but you're being investigated, and I want you to know. And so I won't tell you what he said then, because we're going to get into that later. But that led to a series of conversations throughout the weekend where I then confronted very specific things that I was told between two women 23 years ago. And I came to find out that this had been confronted at least 10 different times over the past 23 years, but Mike had evaded responsibility. I didn't realize that I was
evaded responsibility.
For 23 years.
In English, that means took care of it privately. And then other people kept bringing it up. And he said it was already dealt with. But he evaded responsibility. Now, I should also preface at the first part of this video that this guy was awfully specific about what... And again, if you don't believe me, go back and watch the video for yourself. It's there. But he was like, now, I didn't make this worse. People keep saying I made this worse. I didn't make this worse. When really he heard a rumor on the wind about this situation, and he went and he talked to the girl. And the girl, Brown wasn't pressuring her. He wasn't trying to keep her quiet that we know of. And
he just paid her off.
No, he didn't pay her off. He didn't do anything. Basically, he got caught. If you remember the story...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you remember the story, he was holding hands with her. He smacked her on the behind, kissed her, like what they call chaste kisses, pecks on the lips, peck on the forehead, peck on the cheek. And then he met like a handful of times in a Walmart parking lot. And he was doing all of this under the pretense of, oh, she's like a daughter to me. So, no question, this dude was being pervy. Like, he was being a pervert.
For sure.
Yeah, but then one day, the girl who was dog sitting at their house finds a letter. She finds a letter, and he has written his sexual fantasies about her. And she comes across these. She freaks out, as she should have, calls him a pervert, and leaves. And that's the end of the deal. Like, there was a conversation, like, Micahel Brown talks to his wife about it. They talk to her about it. They're going to go into more details. There's like this weird, I don't know if it's like their attempt to skirt responsibility from the school or if this is like some doctrine thing. I don't know. But they try to basically say that he is going to apologize to her and she is going to represent the entire school. And we'll get into more of that later. That's actually coming up. Yep. Bottom line is, though, she doesn't buy any of it. She calls him a pervert, and she leaves, which is what should have happened. Normal. Yeah, that's what you would expect to happen. And, you know, Brown admitted that this incident happened. He had egg on his face. He accepted that he had egg on his face. He didn't lie or try to deny that this took place. It's just what these guys are really wanting, just to cut to the chase, is they want a struggle session. They cannot stand that this was handled privately. The girl called him a pervert. It was an isolated incident from 20 years ago.
23
years ago. It got dealt with, and it's done. They want him to go... Well, at first they say they want him to go to the elders. He eventually does have to go to the elders because it all comes out. And then when the elders are like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about this because it was 23 years ago, they get mad and scream it's about cover-up culture.
Yeah.
So
essentially, this guy was like, he was like a crappy little kid playing in the backyard, and he finds a buried hatchet, and he digs it up, and he waves it around and puts it in everybody's face. He's like, Mom and Dad, look at this.
Yeah, he's
It's a
digging
buried
up.
hatchet.
Yeah. It's a little on the nose, but I like it. So. Yeah, and for the record, in terms of the metaphor buried hatchet, they had made up, from what I understand, years later. Like, at the time, she blew up at him, and then it was resolved years later. So this was done, and then Captain Beta Male over here decides to rip the scab off and goes, "That was so horrible. I can't believe that happened to you. You know that's assault, right?" And of course she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. That's assault.
I'm a
victim." Yeah. So this thing that happened and was done with years ago gets all brought up. And of course, my opinion on the whole thing is this is a coup. Brown is old. They want him gone. And so they're digging up crap that everybody's talked about for 2 decades to try to bully him out. That's what I think is actually going on. And that's why I think we get all this flamboyant, melodramatic language about how terrible this is. Because I've been thinking about it for a week, and I've come to the conclusion that the tell is, wow, men are perverts. Wow, preachers tend to be so perverted, there's a cinematic archetype for them. And yet he can't fathom a preacher having issues of lust. He can't talk in his apartment for 3 days because it's so shocking that a preacher is a pervert.
He fell out of his chair.
I can't believe it. Fell out of his chair. Yeah, that's one thing he said. Yeah, he fell out of his chair. I mean, it's just this, oh my gosh, these people are rending their garments. I'm surprised he doesn't have sackcloth and ash on his head, you know? Yeah. I mean,
he's getting just 15 minutes of fame out of this deal, though.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's like, look at me, I'm dethroning the king.
Yeah, you're right.
I will say, watching this interview, because I got like 2 hours into it, but like the Micahel Brown guy, he's completely not. He hasn't come to terms with himself, I don't think, because he's still trying to put up a front.
There are reasons I don't like Micahel Brown. You are correct. He is not a good guy. And I will say this. If Micahel Brown were in Mike Winger's chair, the situation would be exactly the same. Like, this whole stupid thing, as infuriating as it is Micahel Brown kind of being hoisted on his own petard. Because he's part of the group that's put up this whole, like, emotional affair culture and all this crap where it's like anything and everything has to have a sexual connotation to it. Like, he's one of the guys that contributed to that. So, we're not saying, like, you said it best last week, Cody. It's shitheads. Shitheads everywhere. And I have to pick a side. So, yeah.
Look, there's a Shathid.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I am interested in what my phone's about to die, so I'm going to call it a night.
You're going to call it a night? All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Can you hear me? I appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry that the signal issues have been a little weird. We'll maybe try it at laptop some other time, but I'm really glad you came on, man.
Yeah, let's get
Me too.
Yep. Thank you.
It's fun.
See you, Greg.
Yeah,
See ya.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Love you.
All right, see you, man. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's see here. I guess I'll have to go straight to the 3 scenes thing. All right.
3 scenes of Orientar.
So, yeah, I wanted to go into this, though, because I really wanted to make the case that I'm not just insulting this guy to be mean. Like, I am calling him Captain Soulpatch for good reason. Like, because I wouldn't be making fun of him if I didn't feel like it was completely appropriate, just to be blunt. But anyway, what do you guys think? You guys talk for a minute, because I got to get my windows set back up.
Oh, Captain Soulpatch. I don't know. I feel like I've already said it all. Like, he's just like a Gamma that wants to take down the king and get his little 15 minutes of fame for the people.
He's a Shathid.
You know, Jess had a wonderful analogy for him.
What is Shathid?
Shathid. It's shithead,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
pronounced Shathid.
I thought you were saying something fancy. Jess said what, Gary?
She had a wonderful way to describe him, and I just thought the world of it. She said, he's Iago. you guys might not get this reference, but Iago is a Shakespearean villain.
I thought you were talking about Aladdin.
No, not the parrot, not the parrot. But Iago is this Shakespearean bad guy, and he's mad about something obscure that happened 20 years ago, and he's like, I pretend to be the Moor's friend, but I hate the Moor, for he hath done my office, which means his wife. So he spends the entire play trying to undo Othello, which he succeeds in the end. He's like this, evil puppet master guy, and it's like, this dude's Iago. Because if you notice at the beginning of the show, and I thought he was talking about Mike Winger, but when we watched it again, no, he was referring to Micahel Brown. They had a falling out. Him and Micahel Brown had a falling out. And then they made up. They're perfectly good friends now. And now I'm kind of like, oh, you only said that to cover your butt because you're probably still mad about whatever the heck happened 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And this is about getting even. But you can't say that, forgiveness and all that stuff that we claim to believe, all that. Anyway, so I was just...
No doubt. He's living in the past. He's got, he's got anger in his heart. And he's trying to, show how he doesn't. He's like, oh, I'm just trying to help, and you're really my friend, but I'm gonna out you in front of all these people.
Yeah.
For your own good.
Yeah, for your own good. For accountability. Yeah. But it's a struggle session. It's not accountability, because the way I understand, when you have conflicts among Christians and stuff, the way I understand that this is supposed to work is you try to deal with things interpersonally first, whatever it is, and then if you can't, you go up the next chain of command. That could be your church, that could be, your company, that could be your college, whatever. And then there's a pecking order to that. But ideally, because we're Christians, we're not supposed to be taking things to other people all the time. And so if something does get dealt with interpersonally, then whatever sin or horrible thing took place, it's done. You're finished. Now, if there's a cover-up, if they're threatening to hurt the victim or whatever, if there's some kind of active component to the crime, that's different. But what these guys describe as a cover-up is not a cover-up. And that's kind of what I want to show. So
nope. But that word gets a lot of clicks, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. A term like cover-up culture is going to get a lot of clips, which is incredibly irritating because I agree that there is a cover-up culture in a lot of these evangelical circles. I just don't think Dr. Brown's participating in it.
Yeah.
After hearing this, and again, no other sources, just their side of the story. I haven't even listened to anything Dr. Brown has said yet. I intend to. And I intend to go look at those emails. But, just listening to these guys, there's enough tells to say that there's something clearly wrong here, at least in my opinion. And that's the point I wanted to make, and that's why I'm wanting to play this, because it just astonished me how quickly and obvious it was that he was lying. So, anyway.
10 or 11 in secession. So by the end of the weekend, he had found out about this, he told me, 6 weeks earlier. And that weekend, I was coming into the States from Israel, and I said, well, let's talk when I get there. We did talk briefly. He told me a little bit more that there was a girl or a woman, 20 years old, that was like a daughter to him, and he acted foolishly. That was pretty much what he told me. And he sat down with his board that weekend and told them, but he didn't tell them everything. He left out the other situation. So there were two situations, and I'll give you the very short version, and then we can open it up. So with one woman, Sarah Monk, she worked for him. She was a grad. She was like a family member, and she loved Mike like a father. But then he took it to what I would call a darker, more physical place, where there was hand-holding, there was kissing on the forehead at least. Again, I'll tell you what I found out that weekend from him: hand-holding, kissing on the forehead, smacking her on her butt from time to time, and then meeting late at night at Walmart. Just the two of them. And for us in the Brownsville revival, the idea of a married man doing anything alone with an unmarried woman was just, that was grounds for getting kicked out of school. You just never do anything like that. So as he confessed this, and by that state,
what are your thoughts on that whole doctrine? Never be alone with a married woman or whatever.
I think that's smart, honestly.
I think it's smart.
You shouldn't.
But if
I don't think you should.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, finish your thought.
Like, I don't, like, on Facebook, because I have Facebook for, like, my business and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't add people's wives. Like, I'll add men, and I'll accept friend requests from females, but I don't add them. So it's just kind of like, it's a good boundary to have, to just not be alone with women as a married man.
I think
mean,
it's
for me.
smart. I think it's smart. And that's certainly how I conduct myself, because I've been in situations where it just takes like one person saying something and you're done. And you're not going to be believed. Period. So, yeah, that's how I conduct
that is
myself.
Changing, but
Yeah, but I guess my difference with these guys would be like, I wouldn't consider that sinful. Like if you're hanging out alone with somebody of the opposite
no, the
sex,
act
I wouldn't
itself
call
isn't
it
sinful, but it's good to protect yourself.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb if you do that, but there's a
Right.
difference between stupid. There's a difference between stupid and sinful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my problem with this. And honestly, everybody I've ever heard, this is anecdotal. This is purely anecdotal. But every time some jackwagon's going, I don't even eat dinner alone with another woman or whatever, I don't even go into the office alone. Every time they start bragging about it, I'm like, they usually do some other horrible thing later on, It's like, and that's been my experience. It's like, usually it's this self-righteous declaration of how they're never alone with women usually means they're covering up something else. But that's anecdotal. That's personal experience.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think there's a distinction between stupid and sinful, and I don't think they like to make that distinction.
Yeah. Speaking of sinful, I wanted to point it out. This guy, he's like pretending to care. So it's like he's projecting. That's why we don't like him. You can tell he's projecting.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his face.
Yeah.
Were you paused to that?
Right. So he's like, he wants to protect these women, right? He's like, oh, I'm going to point out the bad man, but he's like outing these girls.
Yeah.
He's like saying their names. Like, why would you say their names? You're pointing a spotlight on it.
Skipping ahead towards the end, yeah. Me and Jess were talking in the car whenever they were discussing how Dr. Brown dealt with the girl figuring all this stuff out. And the way that they did it is they wanted her to be like this avatar for the whole school. But the thing is, he didn't hold hands. As far as I know, he didn't hold hands with other girls at the school. He didn't do the other stuff, or at the very least, he didn't do the other stuff to the same extent to other girls. He had, like, the pervy fantasies about other girls, and she was among those other girls, but he wasn't actually, like, doing the quote-unquote inappropriate behavior with the other girls. And yet they wanted him to, I guess, apologize to the whole school. And I was like, and me and Jess were talking, and I asked her, I was like, if some old man was fantasizing about you, would you really want to know? I mean, if some old lady was fantasizing about me, I wouldn't want to know. I'm like, and she was like, no, I wouldn't want to know that. And I mean, maybe I'm just a cynic, but I just kind of assume everybody has perverted thoughts and they have to say no and reject that stuff. And if somebody has a thought about me, I'm like, I don't need to know. That is not my business.
Yeah, because it's not even real. It's not even real. Like your thoughts are like clouds, they come and go and they're not even
right.
So why would I care about somebody else's little cloud that's going to disappear in 5 minutes?
Yeah, you don't know where they come from. You don't always know if they're even yours. And the idea, like, at least in, we cast down evil imaginations. That's the terminology in the Bible. You cast down, which means you're going to have them before you can cast them down.
Did you watch that video I sent you?
I watched one. I don't know if I got
The short one?
I don't remember which one was the short one, which one was the long. Let me
About
check.
it's a professor and he projects sound waves like in a beam.
Yes,
like a
yes, I
spotlight
did
beam.
watch that one. I did watch
Pretty
that
cool.
one. That is cool. That is cool. But that does demonstrate the point. It's like you don't even know what thoughts are yours, what are the devil. Sometimes we can't hear God when we're supposed to. Right. You don't always know. And so it's just I don't feel like the guy owed an explanation to the whole school, and I don't think the girls would have wanted known about it. Right. But again, and this was the thing that I think kind of made Jess mad, and this was the thing she wanted me to hone in on a lot when we were talking today. She was like, you need to really stress that they keep saying the word groomer and they keep saying the word student because they are trying to emphasize the predatory nature of Dr. Brown when that is not what was happening. This is a 20-year-old college student who wasn't one of his students. She was an employee. And frankly, whether people like it or not, there are 40-year-old men dating dramatically younger staffers all the time. That is a thing that happens, and it is common. So you could say it's wrong, you could say it's weird, but it's not predatory, and it doesn't present a threat to the other students. But they intentionally choose the words student and groomer and use it repeatedly because their whole case for him doing that struggle session is predicated on the idea that he is an active threat to the students when he was not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And that's lying. That what they did was lying. To use that terminology, knowing the impression it creates, when that's not exactly what happened, is a lie.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's terrible.
Yeah, he is. And I need to shut up so we can actually watch him tell his side of the story instead of me just telling people what he said.
Captain Soul Patch.
Yeah.
We're in the second phase of what I would call Matthew 18. I confronted him privately. I heard his denial, and then I brought two guys with me, and I said, Mike, here's specifically what I heard. And then he confessed, probably to about 65, 70% of what was being accused. And the next...
Okay, let's just stop here. 65 to 70% of an accusation of what was accused of that account is pretty blasted good, considering both people are remembering events from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's I wouldn't expect it to be that high, to be perfectly blunt. So,
fair.
Yeah, I don't think he's exactly lying, not when so much time has passed.
Next day, I wrote him back and I said, Mike, listen, I understand that you think you acted foolishly and this was not really... And with the other woman, by the way, he said that there was a sinful soul tie, but there was no real description of what that meant. We now know...
Can I just say, soul tie means crush. This is why I hate Christianese. I hate Christianese because there's nothing in the Bible about soul ties. Like there is a term that I was aware of in demonology where if you have a family member with a demon and you get into a fight and then you go home, the demon could follow you, hypothetically, because there is a soul tie. But in this nomenclature, it just means crush. But it's meant to sound super spiritual. Everything good?
A puppy.
Oh, they got an animal. So, Trevor, what do you think? You're being quiet.
About soul ties?
Yeah, I mean, just anything I've said, because I've just been screaming my head off for 30 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, give me more. Give me more.
Oh. I don't know.
I think there's some validity to the term.
To the term soul tie is in the demonological sense, or the way they're using it?
The demonological sense.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, I think that's fine as far as like demonology, but that's to sit there and make it sound like...
I think it takes more than holding hands to make one, but
Yeah. To sit there and act like a crush is something like a soul tie. It's like got some sort of special spiritual significance or whatever. That's just stupid to me.
or it could be in this particular case, it could be something that he can call his lust.
Yeah, like it's maybe a more spiritual way to say lust, perhaps.
Yeah, and it's like kind of
Yeah.
excusing it, I guess, or trying to not show it for what it is.
I just
Yeah.
wish people would speak plain. I'm like, I want
Well,
to see
you
her
can't
naked.
speak plainly when you're a liar.
I guess.
And it unties all the knots that you got tied.
I guess. Good night. I just wish people would say what they mean. Anyway.
Mean what you say and
After
say
the
what you mean.
Yeah.
That it was a verbal, a textual email, and then a phone erotic relationship that progressed over many months until it got to a place that was quite unclean. And according to Ray, the husband, that included Mike pressuring this woman, Kim, into not sleeping with her own husband, which shows a desire for possession. You know, you're mine. You don't belong to him. You belong to me.
That is a direct assault upon the marriage.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
How is it a direct assault?
Oh, it is. I agree. Because he said it. I don't need to.
Yeah. I feel like there needs to be more details. It's like we're getting, it was an erotic conversation. Okay, that sounds, when you say that, I'm thinking like they're sexting, like they're talking vulgarly in these emails, like they're describing them doing lewd acts to each other or something.
Yeah.
But that might not be what they mean. It could be, well, I gotta admit, I kind of want to have relations with you. And then the other person goes, hey, me too. And then that becomes erotic emailing. You know what I mean? Like they're not giving specific examples. They're not describing how far it's going. They don't know, we don't know the context behind pressuring her not to have sex with him. Why? Was she worried about having a kid? Was it like we're gonna run off? You know, like I feel like I need to know more before I could even make a decision about whether that's right or wrong or whatever.
Right.
I feel like I'm getting pieces of information that are being framed to look as bad as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm just suspicious.
Yeah. Super sus, bro.
Super sus,
as the kids would say.
Yeah.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Pressured Kim to meet him in a public place. When I say public, I mean outside the home, privately, and she would not do those things.
That was a good spin
and so
on
I didn't
words.
know all those details on that.
A public. Okay, what do you mean?
A public place, but privately.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
They met privately in a public place.
Yeah.
It's a complete spin on words.
It's like, do you mean a
Again,
date?
he's trying to reframe it to make it look worse, like Gary said.
Yeah. Well, no, if he'd said a date, if he'd meant date, he would have said date. So the fact that he's wording it so weird means it means something else. Like whatever it was, maybe they had a meeting, maybe they had to go pick up something for the office because she did work for him at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know, like if it was like some kind of romantic sleazy thing, do you think this guy would be coloring his wording to make it seem less extreme? Or do you think this guy would be coloring his wording to make whatever it was seem as awful as possible?
Yeah, I think this guy is just an overreactor. Like,
right.
He
Yeah.
fell
He's
out
just
of his
going off.
chair.
He's going off little snippets of a thing and like trying to conjecture and make it
Blow it out.
frame it worse than it as bad as he wants it.
Yeah.
Day, but just based on what I knew is that out of his mouth, a sinful soul tie with Kim and with the single woman, Sarah, 20 years old. There was a touching of her butt, kissing on the head.
Just to note, not sure how telling this is, but this might suggest maybe some escalation, maybe even in his own mind. At the beginning, it was smacking her butt. He was smacking it. Now he's touching it. Those words have different connotations. One's jovial or aggressive, or you smack somebody for a variety of different reasons. You touch somebody for a different, that's a whole other thing. There's different connotations with that terminology.
Yeah.
And it grows.
Holding her hand in front of a bunch of other students and proclaiming that this is my, Sarah's like a daughter to me. That's why I can hold her hand. And then he continued to hold her hand in a car with students watching for several minutes. It was unsettling to the students who were in the car. And then meeting late at night.
He's talking like he was there.
So the next day
Yeah, he's talking like he was there. Now, but let's just assuming that that's true, assuming that that's exactly how it happened, which I don't know because I haven't heard Dr. Brown's side of the story. Do you okay, what do you guys think? Why do you think he was holding the hands? That's because it's baffling to me.
I think it goes into it when he starts talking and he talks about how he did something that was a little inappropriate, like kissed her on the head or something like that. And then all the other students were like, whoa. And he was like, oh, she's like a daughter to me. Look, I'll hold her hand. It was like a reactionary thing.
So he was doubling down over something he probably didn't think about initially.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And sometimes, best friends, they hold hands.
Oh, yeah, there's contexts where there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just the issue with Brown is he did have the letter with the pervy stuff on it. He admits to having the letter with the pervy stuff on it. So that does reframe. Because honestly, if it wasn't for the pervy letter, I wouldn't give a crap about any of this because I wasn't there and I wouldn't know why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
But the letter does give it a context. That means he was lustful on some level. So...
Yeah.
But even again, that's not even all that relevant because it was 20 years ago. And the issue was dealt with privately. Yeah. So it's I'm mainly wanting to listen to this because you just keep picking little things apart about what this guy is saying. But, even if everything that he says is true, it doesn't get rid of the core fact. It was so long ago. There shouldn't be any concern about this at this point, unless he was threatening the victims and pressuring them to stay silent. If he was doing that, I'd have a different opinion. That's what I would consider a cover-up. And they keep using the word cover-up, but in the end, and I'm only saying this now because I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get through the whole thing. I can't shut up, but. In the end, it's cover-up means there's 2 or 3 details that vary from the girl's account. That really is what it boils down to. And I'm like, you have 2 or 3 variances after 20 years have gone by. Dude, that's not that... that's actually really good for something that happened so long ago. What were you expecting? 100% accuracy 2 decades later? Really?
Yeah. Anyway. I just had a thought. So, the last episode, we were talking about lizard people / demons, and how they harvest emotions, right?
Yeah.
This guy is harvesting emotion. Every time he lies, he has to, embellish his language to make it more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he gets you sucked in. He's a demon.
He's a lizard person.
In the Bible, this is
He's
called...
probably going to turn into a lizard any minute.
Yeah.
Watch his eyes.
In the Bible, this is called stirring derision. That's what this is. Because if this was... if you look at Ravi Zacharias, they underplayed what that guy did. This guy's trafficking women. This guy's threatening women to keep quiet. This guy is using his position not just as a preacher, but as a personal therapist to get nude photographs of women. Yeah. I mean, Zacharias was a bad dude.
Like Corn Pop?
He's like Corn Pop. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Yeah, he's like Corn Pop.
You said it was in the Bible?
No, this isn't Zacharias. No, Zacharias is like a evangelist that died a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
He went his whole life as like one of the most prominent apologists.
I was like, I didn't know they had pictures in the Bible.
Yeah, no.
My kid's Bible does.
Yeah, like the old early 1900s ones does. But anyway, but people kept quiet about him, and they didn't go into all the lurid details of what the guy did because it was humiliating for the victims. In this, it's every teeny tiny little thing gets blown up to be as bad as it can possibly be.
Yeah, which means it's a nothing burger.
Exactly. Because it's like, hey, I think this 20-year-old, which I'm sorry, 20-year-olds are young and stupid, but they're still sentient. I mean, it's not like he's talking to somebody who is completely incapable of making decisions.
Yeah.
Like, to be callous, she's legal, but it's not, she's past legal. It's a completely different dynamic. Like, she's an employee. Doesn't make it good, doesn't make what he did right, but the idea that it's pedophilic, the idea that it's like he's like preying on small children and trying to equivocate that with what he actually did, to me, I find that really disgusting.
Yeah.
And they deny that's what they're doing. But you don't use the term groomer or grooming without intentionally using it to create that impression.
Yeah.
You don't use the word
You call
stupid.
somebody a groomer, you hate them.
Yeah, that's personal. That's the twist the knife, and that's to make somebody look as bad as possible.
Yep.
In my opinion, that's just dishonest. So, again, he's not a good guy, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so I think I'm kicking this dead horse. I don't think we need to spend more time on this. There's a couple more points on this I want to go after, though. So there's one major thing that I guess would be the last detail to really talk about on it. And that would be, ironically, when they talk about Dr. Brown covering up everything that he, covering up certain things, if you go through the whole 3-hour video, in the end, it's basically whether it was like 7 kisses or 5. It's that kind of crap. And the big hubbubaloo that they spend most of their time talking about is whether or not the girl rummaged through Dr. Brown's cabinets or whether or not she like left him a note. And this was particularly annoying to me because they were like, this is so horrible. I can't believe he's saying she rummaged through her cabinets. Or he is saying she rummaged through his cabinets to make her look bad. And I got to thinking about this whole note thing. And I'm like, if she really was leaving notes for this guy, of course, I don't think that's what happened. She says she was leaving notes. I think she lied to cover up the fact she was digging through his stuff because she was a 20-year-old girl. She was dog-sitting and bored. And I think that's how she found the note. So I think, I think she was just digging through stuff, being nosy, which is normal.
So he never actually gave her the creepy note?
No, she found it. And there's 2 varying accounts about how she found it. One account is that she was leaving him a note in a Bible. The other is that she was rummaging through his stuff and came across it. Now, I don't know what actually happened, but I will say this. If she was leaving notes, that means she was complicit in whatever was going on, and in no way, shape, or form was this, predatory. You do not leave a grocery list you don't hide a grocery list in the family Bible. So whatever she was writing, she didn't want it to be on the kitchen table.
Right.
So if that is what happened, it does not make her look better.
No.
I imagine she was probably just rummaging through stuff and didn't want to admit it, said a lie on impulse, and didn't realize the lie actually made her look worse. That's what I think happened. I don't know. But Dr. Brown says she was rummaging, and he's going, I can't believe that he said this. That's meant to attack her. And I'm like, no, it's not. Either he said she was rummaging because he couldn't figure out why else she would be digging through his stuff. Or he was saying she was rummaging to protect her from the embarrassment of having to admit that she was writing notes to him. So it was either a shot in the dark because he didn't know how else she would have found the note, or he was trying to protect her, in which case it's not him attacking her character, because the note thing makes her look infinitely worse, regardless of what was actually happening.
Yep.
So that was the other big point. The last point I want to mention on this, and I swear I'll shut up, is Mike Winger keeps bringing up accountability on this. He says the reason this is important is because we have to keep our religious leaders accountable, and accountability is good for us. I don't remember off the top of my head every single scripture referring to accountability. I do remember the one in Paul. And in Paul, there is a procedure. And I think he mentions Matthew 18. I don't know why he's mentioning Matthew 18. I might have to look it up. But whenever you're talking about church discipline, what's important about that is whether or not there is actually currently a sin ongoing. Like, you confront the believer about something they are currently doing.
Right.
And if they deny it or continue to do it, then you bring two people. And then you bring the matter to the congregation. And after the confrontation with the congregation, if he still refuses to stop doing the thing, then he's kicked
You go
out.
public with it.
Yeah. But the whole criterion is it has to be an active sin. It has to be something that is currently going on. Not the cover-up of the sin, technically counting as the sin, because there's like 2 or 3 details that are different.
Or 23 years later after it's already taken care of.
Exactly, or 23 years later after it's already taken care of. This is done. It should have been done. Whatever the heck is going on, it has nothing to do with him being in sin currently or him being some kind of threat. What they want, or him being some kind of threat to a student, what they want is a struggle session. They are mad that he didn't go...
They want a humiliation ritual.
Exactly. They want a humiliation ritual. They want him to be punished.
They want money.
Or they want money, or they want to throw him out. One way or the other, they want something that basically gratifies their own ego.
Like, oh, look at all the guilt and shame you should feel.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
It's good to see you. And so I will end this diatribe on Rand Cantor and Mike Winger with the following words. There is another scripture I know. I may not be as smart as Mike Winger when it comes to the Bible, but I will say this. There is one that keeps coming up in my mind over and over again. By your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. And if you're going to hold Micahel Brown to this standard, just remember that you too will be held by this standard in the last day. That doesn't mean you're going to go to hell, but Christ is going to judge us in heaven, and the criterion for that is going to be how you treated and how you judged other people. So maybe hesitate before bringing back crap up that's 23 years old. Now I'm done, and now I will shut up.
The Bible preaches against guilt. Don't have guilt.
Guilt, shame, and condemnation.
This guy's just trying to bring it all back up.
Yeah, this is called stirring derision, which is a sin.
Yeah,
it's a sin. Yeah.
He's a scumbag. Him and Brandon Biggs should go hang out together.
All right.
Maybe Brandon can grow a soul patch.
I think he'd look dashing in it. So...
I have a soul patch.
Oh, anyway. So, I apologize for not getting more through this video. I just couldn't... it just made me so mad. I just couldn't shut up. I've tried to shut up. But I couldn't do it. So, if you want to see if I represented Mike Winger in this interview fairly, go and watch it. Go look at... Trevor, what was the website I had you write down?
BrownWitnessReport.com.
brownwitnessreport.com. Go check that out. Go check out Dr. Micahel Brown's side of the story. If you're interested in this, do your own research, because apparently I could not stop bloviating, and that is a failure on my part. So
That guy's still around? He's still talking to Jesus or the Lord?
he
You just
is.
said that.
He is indeed. And Cody still hates him with a vile passion.
It's not vile. It's more humorous.
More humorous. Okay. All right.
I just think he's ridiculous. He's like a...
ridiculous.
I don't have a good analogy. He's terrible.
He's our precious source of entertainment and one of the highest sources of views for us for reasons I'll never understand.
Right.
So, anyway.
I'm
All
hoping
right.
our failure on looking up his background goes get some hits, because that one's pretty funny.
Well, we all learned something that day. I don't know what, but it was something. So, Anyway, okay, so honestly, you watched more of
Oblivion?
this than Trevor did. Did I do a good job representing what this guy said? Because I don't want to be... I've been humorous and glib, but I don't want to necessarily be unfair towards this whole thing. Like, is there any details or anything that I missed that you recall, Cody?
Not that I recall. There's a lot of concentration on the Walmart parking lot thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all like he was like on his way home, and he had to stop at Walmart, and he'd be like, "Oh, meet me at Walmart in the parking lot," or whatever, and
yeah,
then they would hold hands or talk or whatever.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think it's just all ridiculous, man.
I think so
Like
too.
this guy bringing all this, he's like a shitty little kid with a hatchet. He's like, "Look, I found the hatchet in the backyard, Mom and Dad. It was buried, but I dug it up because I'm the special boy."
Yeah.
You know?
Gosh, Jess she said so much smart stuff on here. I should have brought her on. It was just, I think the big catch was like for me, the biggest impression was the indignation at the continuously using the word student and groomer. Like that actually made her mad. And that, to me, that was like, okay, this guy's definitely full of crap.
He was a groomer, and I live in Israel.
In Israel, yeah.
And he falls out of his chair.
Just in
And
Israel.
I fell out of my chair when I heard
Israel.
that men have lust.
Yeah. How shocking. I can't believe it.
I've never had to contend with that once in my whole life.
Oh, yeah. He's never had a problem with lust. Not one time.
That's why I have a soul patch, because it shows how perfect and righteous I am.
Soul. I got so much soul. Just bursting at the seams of unlustful soul.
Jen wants to know who we're talking about.
Talking about Ray Cantor, I believe is the man's name. Yeah, Ray Cantor.
He's not on the stream.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm done. I swear I'm done. Okay, if you're still lost. No. If you're still watching the live stream, please stay with us. We got one more segment left. If you're watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
We will see you next time.
If you're lucky.
All right. So, Cody, since this is your baby, I'll let you lead us in for this one.
Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try F podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. Today, we are reviewing a Jesse Lee Peterson video and talking about anger and its implications in your life.
Anger.
All right. So, am I understanding your position to be that we should not be angry?
Right. You should never have anger. There's no reason for it.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you.
Why is there no anger?
And what you said made me mad. So,
oh, good.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's see.
Base.
Let's see if I can get to this thing in one piece. Here we go.
Who's new face, Jen?
All right.
I was just talking about how difficult it is to be white. We did a man on the street. When are we going to play that, Andrea? Okay, hopefully for you this week. And I realized even more so. Let me see the people with anger. You get angry sometimes. You have anger. Yeah, okay. So everybody, except the 4 people on the row. You get angry sometimes, right, sir? Okay. You say yes? Okay. What I noticed about anger, and I saw it on the street this weekend, angry people are stupid people. Sorry.
No, you're right.
I'm sorry,
yeah, well, anyway.
but I'm happy to tell you. I bet the other angry people glad they didn't raise their hands. But angry people are really dumb. It made no sense at all for 1 second to be angry. It made no sense. Think about it. You got to be crazy to be angry. You are a human being and you're walking through life in darkness. Think about
Trevor, this is my dad joke for the evening. Are you sure you're not mad to be angry? But
Good one.
You gotta be
Sort of.
mentally ill. That's why
I give it a B.
everybody is mentally ill.
B plus.
Because everyone is angry, except for those men and women who are starting to overcome. But I want you to know it. I'm gonna prove it to you today. You're dumb. You're dumb. It doesn't even make sense to be angry. There's not one thing that could happen to you in this whole world, the rest of your life, that you should get angry about. Really, not one thing.
Disagree, Gary.
You only.
All right, hang on a minute. I would rather be. Jen says I would rather be asked if I'm angry than be told I'm depressed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, you want me to disagree with him now?
Well, not necessarily. I just thought that's what you were going to do when you paused it.
Oh no, I was reading Jen's comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. Grr, arg. Anyway.
You're getting angry because you're mentally ill, and medication is not going to do anything about that. You can go to
He's
your
right.
psychiatrist, your little doctor, and they give you medication for anger. You're only going to get worse, and you're going to be worse and not know that you're worse because you're going to be medicated up, and you're not going to be able to deal with overcoming the anger. But
You just project
anger
more.
is dumb.
Yeah.
So, for an example, let's say that you're married 80 years and you have 400 kids. And all of a sudden, the husband or the wife said, I don't want to be with you anymore. I'm leaving. You abuse me. You know, they
Well,
always say that. If you have anger, you're going to feel, oh, don't leave me. I love you.
Okay, Jen says then they want to drug you because you're depressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes you more depressed.
You can make money off of you.
Yeah, it's a weird. We read that book, Laura Delano's, Unshrunk. It's about that. You know, all those drugs, they just put you on the hamster wheel.
Yep.
Screw that. I'll rather be pissed off. That's kind of where I'm at lots of times. Like, I need to be angry so I don't get sad. I'm just going to power through. That's kind of where I'm at sometimes.
Feel the anger and rage. Yeah. And then move on.
Yeah. Let the hate flow through you and then leave. Anyway. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Jen. It's like, yeah, I'll get over it sooner or later. That's kind of where I'm at.
How will I live without you? I'm so hurt. Let's go have counseling. Let's do this. If it's the husband or the wife that want to leave, right? You know, I'm lonely, don't leave me. And then you're going to call your mother, Mama, my husband want to leave me. And I knew that man was no good no way. Mama, my wife want to leave me. I knew that woman was a slut. I told you not to marry her. She's going to tell you, you know what? Don't worry about it, right? But, and so because you have anger or resentment, which is both the same, you're going to be all upset. But just imagine this. if you didn't
Right,
have
Jim?
anger or resentment and that person wanted to leave, you'll be like, okay, bye. See you later. Been fun.
All right. I'm going to challenge you. Challenge
Okay.
now. I think he's conflating inner peace with apathy. And I don't think apathy is good. In fact, apathy is one of the great sins you can commit.
So what's your definition of apathy?
Being overfed and unconcerned. Circa
Overfed.
Ezekiel 17, I believe.
Being unconcerned?
Being overfed and unconcerned.
Overfed? What do you mean by overfed?
Gluttony.
Like overfed.
Like, okay, let me give you the
Okay,
context
so
for the scripture.
actual, like, eating 10 bags of chips.
You're secure, so you don't give a crap if other people are secure. That
You
kind
can't.
of thinking.
If you try to fix them, they just get mad at you and build an army against you.
If you fix them, they just get mad at you and
No,
try
if
to build an army
You
against
try
you.
to fix other people. Like if you if you go around shoving truth videos in people's faces about like how bad their vice is for them, like they're gonna build an army against you.
Or giving them context.
I don't think that negates the idea of still sending the message. I mean, otherwise, why have the prophets?
Plant seeds.
Well, I mean, I think part of being like a prophet or being a messenger of God, as it were, was you gave the message even though you knew you were going to be rejected over and over and over. And then you get killed. Like, part of the point of being invested in other people is being willing to die for other people, because those people are so blasted ungrateful, they generally kill you.
Right.
That's the theme of Isaiah. That's the theme of Jeremiah. I mean, I don't think Jeremiah died, but I think Isaiah was killed by his own people. So we are called to care about other people to our own detriment. That is one of the burdens of being a Christian, if you will.
But I don't think you should. I think when you become at peace with yourself, people come to you for guidance. You don't seek out the giving of guidance. You don't go around preaching at people because they won't listen. But when you are a beacon of light or truth, people are attracted to that and they come to you and ask questions, which is, I mean, what they did with Jesus.
I think sometimes. I think that's how that works.
Sure. Sometimes.
I don't know if that always happens, though. I think it's kind of maybe a seasonal thing. Like with Christ, they came to him because he was feeding them, like he was providing for their needs. And, he eventually kind of had to, I don't remember what exactly he did, if he rebuked them or not, or what exactly it was that happened, but he eventually got tired of them just showing up for the miracles. There's a point where he makes a comment about that. But they were showing up because he would take care of their physical needs, and there's a season for that. But there's also the season where you die on the cross. Like those same people he fed are the same people that killed him. And he still gave the message anyway, and he knew that they were going to kill him. He still fed them. So part of the idea of being a Christian is caring about other people and is caring to the point that it hurts you. That is one of the unpleasant aspects of Christianity. And so I think that kind of flies in the face of apathy or not being super concerned. And
I mean, didn't he say, let the dead bury the dead?
In a certain context, yes. He's telling the guy to join me now because the guy's probably just making an excuse. So he didn't have to go follow Christ. He probably wasn't actually needed. And
Well,
so
I mean,
Christ
think about
told him,
that.
let the dead bury the dead.
Let that sentence sink in, though. Does that show apathy to you?
It depends on the context of it, though. Like
yes,
if it was some general thing and there was never if it was like the only sentence in the Bible and there was nothing to refute that point or nothing to extrapolate on that idea, then yeah, I would take some sort of spiritual meaning from it. If it's like one thing said to one guy who's in a specific circumstance, and the context of the story is a bunch of people saying, oh, Christ, I would follow you, but Like, that sentence is in a long list of people making excuses about why they can't follow Christ. And so he says that to basically cut at the guy's individual need.
Do you think that going to funerals is spiritually beneficial?
Is it spiritually beneficial? Like, what do you
To go to-
mean? Like,
to go
that's
to a
not a
funeral.
specific enough
Anybody's.
term. Spiritually beneficial. Like, do you think...
Do you think it's good to wallow in sadness or emotion?
For a season, I think there's a time to grieve, and then there's a time to move on. Like Ecclesiastes. My philosophy on emotion in general is Ecclesiastes. There's a time for everything under the sun. Time to love, time to hate, time to reap,
So-
time to sow, time for war, time for peace.
What determines that to you?
Guidance of the Holy Spirit, I would say. Prayer, reading the Bible, life experience. All of these things come together to give you a sense of when you should get up and when you should move on and when you should stay and mourn something. Like, yeah, I think people do need to be sad, especially like around tragedies and stuff, because people need to remember others who have suffered. Like, there is a value in remembering tragedy. There is a value in remembering what people have gone through, if for no other reason than to have life lessons.
Yeah, but you can still remember that and not, bask in the emotion of it.
Depends on what it is. Like, I don't want people to be sad at my funeral, for example. I don't want people to be weeping over me. I'm kind of like, feed me to the coyotes and have a picnic.
Right.
I don't give a crap.
Let the dead bury the dead. I think that's what Jesus was saying.
Yeah, but that was one circumstance. I'm saying that doesn't fit everywhere. There are times to feel things.
I don't know. I don't think Jesus just said stuff like that.
I think he knew the person's exact situation and said exactly what that person needed to hear.
Yeah, I guess I could disagree then.
Jen said, yeah, time to mourn, but people mourn differently. Some go apeshit and others go to work the next day.
I mean, I'd agree with that. I mean, people do mourn differently, but you should work through it however you work through it.
Depends on your level of anger. In my
What does
opinion.
that mean, level of anger?
How much anger do you have?
And that having anger is going to manifest in other emotions? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 'cause
anger's the root emotion of everything, or some things?
I kinda think so.
Okay,
I mean,
explain
like,
that
so-
to me.
Because anger will always come in and be like an assist to other demons. So, like, say gluttony, you see a piece of cake, right? And you're like, oh man, I want that cake. Right? I really want that cake. But then you're like, I shouldn't eat that cake, right? Because I don't need it. But then anger comes in. And it's like, well, you deserve that cake because so-and-so didn't give you a cookie yesterday, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, I'll eat the cake. So like anger kind of like is like a linebacker for for other demons.
Do you think all emotions are demons? Is that why you're using that term, or why are you using...
That's how it makes sense in my head, yeah. I mean, like the 7 deadly sins are easier to look at when they have faces.
So do you think God made emotions?
No.
So how did God make us originally then?
We're supposed to live in the moment.
What does
do
that
the
mean?
will of the Father. Be present.
What does that mean? How do you feel when you do the will of the Father?
You don't.
You feel nothing. You're just a robot?
A conduit of God.
What does that mean?
What Jesus was.
What does that mean?
He only did the Father's will.
Which was...
So he was like you know what a conduit is?
Yes, I understand what a conduit is. I'm just, you're using a bunch of terminology, and I'm trying to get you to... Because, look, I don't think... If you're going to sit there and say that Christ was the perfect example, and he was the conduit of the will of the Father, but the will of the Father is for us to basically not feel anything, well, that can't be true, because Christ got mad at the Pharisees. He rejoiced when the disciples got saved. He lived in emotion. He wept with Mary. shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept.
I think
Like,
this
he
would be
felt.
a good time.
Hmm?
I think this would be a good time to apply my dad joke.
Okay.
Go for it.
Who is the greatest DJ ever?
I don't know.
Jesus, because he turned tables.
Ah.
It was good timing.
That was appropriate. It was appropriate. Painful, but appropriate.
Yay.
And I'm mad about it. Anyway.
So what's your question?
My question is, if the conduit of God, being Christ, was manifesting God's perfect will, then why did Jesus feel, if feelings are not designed by God?
Okay. Valid.
Okay.
Are feelings emotions, though?
I think the difference
I
is
think
Jesus
so.
didn't identify with them. So like most people identify, and that's where you get like depressions when you're like identifying with.
Okay, you have to
sadness.
define what that is. Identifying with an emotion. I don't know what you mean when you say that.
Okay, so hang on, let me find this. I wrote it down.
Jen said, "Hey, Jesus wept."
Yeah.
So I wrote this down. See thoughts,
Yeah.
don't feel them.
Over Lazarus.
Can you let me talk? See thoughts, don't feel them. When you just observe, there's no issue. But when you choose to feel that thought, your body translates it and makes it real. So like as an example, like when I was younger, when I would feel anger, I would punch a wall and it would hurt my hand.
Uh-huh.
So instead of punching the wall, I see that I'm angry now and I just don't do anything about it.
But you still
So-
feel the emotion, like in your gut, right?
Yeah, but it goes away because I don't identify with it. I'm not like, oh, that anger, that's me. I don't do that anymore.
So you're talking about not reacting poorly.
Not reacting at all.
Well, sometimes you do have to react, but most of the time, particularly with anger, it's best not to do anything. Because you aren't exactly being logical when you're angry.
Right.
So it's best to hold back until you're in a calmer frame of mind to decide what you're going to do. But there are other times, like with Christ turning the tables, that you do need to let that anger vent out because that's a demonstration for other people. Paul talks about whatever you say, whatever you do, let it be for the edification of the body. So you're supposed to be demonstrating with your feelings and with your actions some sort of message for other people. I think what you're talking about is about being mindful of your emotions and deciding the appropriate way to react with those emotions. But that doesn't mean, you don't feel them or that you're always supposed to do nothing. For example, sometimes you're supposed to do the thing that's opposite of what you feel. And the fact that you're angry, as strange as it might sound, for example, would be to respond in an opposite manner from your emotions. So if you're mad at your wife, for example, because she said something, but she said it from a place of hurt, even though you're angry, it might be better to give your wife a hug, and that might make that hug mean more to her than it would normally, because you did it even though you didn't want to, and you did that because she was hurting.
Okay.
So our emotions do serve a function, but they're meant to cue a behavior, but it is up to us to be disciplined enough to decide what that behavior is.
Well, so are you saying when you feel anger, you should show love?
Sometimes. But, you should always show love, but the question is to who? Because
should always show love?
Was Christ beating the crap out of the priests, showing them love? Was he showing love to the
they
priests?
needed corrected.
I would agree. I would also say that he's showing love to the audience, to the people.
How?
Because he's saying this is wrong. This thing that you've been taught is okay for 200 years is wrong, and God is furious about it.
Okay.
And so his genuine anger demonstrated that point.
But it wasn't anger, it was love.
didn't feel like love in the sense that it felt like a bunch of serotonin or dopamine running through your brain. It felt like anger. It was an act of love because love is both a verb and a noun. So it may have felt like anger, but it was an act of love because the intention was to show the truth to people.
But how do you know how Jesus felt?
I'm assuming it's a safe inference when he made a whip and beat the crap out of him. I think it's safe to assume he was mad.
Well, I mean, can you spank your kid without being mad?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
So it's that kind of love, man.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between doing that and then making your whip. Like he made it personally and then ran in there and then turned all the tables and said, "You've turned my father's house into a den of thieves." And then don't forget that there were other times that he called them snakes. He called them whitewashed tombs. If Brad Stein is correct, I think
They
the
were
vipers,
Pharisees, man.
he called them vipers, which was like a curse word for the day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So he showed anger when it was appropriate, but he
I
wasn't
don't think it
just
was
like
anger, though. It was corrective action. Like our definition of anger and what Jesus experienced are not. You can't say those are the same thing.
he came down to earth to be an example for us and how we should deal with things. Like another example, there's a time where Christ kills a fig tree out of anger. It didn't produce fruit. He got mad and said, "May you never produce fruit again." And he did that because he was mad, but he also tied it in to what was going to happen to the temple. It's kind of a Markian sandwich story. There was an idea about how, in the same way that the fig tree was dying for not producing fruit, so too the temple was going to be destroyed and Jerusalem was going to die, basically.
Yeah. It's
So
a
it
great
was
allegory.
it was a messianic prophecy about the destruction of the temple. So, but yeah, that was something done. I mean, the Bible says he was mad when he did it. So, you know,
It does.
emotions
I
have
forgot about
uses.
that story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I just, yeah. I don't think anger is necessary. At least it hasn't been in my life. Every time I've been angry, it's hurt me.
Well, generally speaking, none of us are very good at reacting appropriately when we're mad. And
So we should
yeah,
only
most
show
of the time.
love.
I think we should ask ourselves, what the most loving thing to do is in a given situation. And, take note how we feel, but not necessarily respond impulsively.
Right.
So.
Because then you're identifying with the emotion. You're allowing the emotion to dictate your actions.
Yeah, if that's what you mean by identifying emotion, I agree completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What else was there? I got a couple other notes I can talk about unless you want to keep playing the video.
I'll go for it. However you want to do it.
Let's see. I wrote down some questions. Is your anger justified or righteous? Like the last time you were angry, was it justified or righteous?
I'm pretty mad at Soul Patch Guy. I think that's righteous.
You think it's righteous to be mad at somebody for
He's accusing somebody of
being mad?
He's accusing somebody falsely of being a PDF file. I think I'm entirely entitled to be angry about that. I think that's unjust, and that does make me mad.
Okay. What do you use to quell your anger?
Making snide jokes and being a smart aleck.
Is there ever a reason? Let's see. I guess we just discussed that. Is there ever a reason to have anger when you're within God's will? So I think we just went over that.
Yeah.
But I think we disagree on the definition of anger.
I think. Do we? I think so. I think you're right.
Jesus' anger and our anger, I don't think are the same thing.
Okay. Well, what's the distinction?
Jesus was within God's will, so it it's not the same thing. Like because our definition of it is an emotion, and I just don't think that that's what it means when it talks about Jesus having anger. I don't, because I just don't think he felt emotions. So I don't think it's the same thing.
Well, I mean, I do think you have to account for scriptures like Jesus wept and his actions at the temple. Like, I do think you have to explain all that if you're going to maintain the position that he didn't have emotions. One way to do that is to redefine what you mean by emotions. But I'm not sure I'm clear on what you mean.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just have to look at it more.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, unless you want to keep playing the video.
Yeah, we can keep playing the the
Sweet.
video.
I'm sure something else will pop up.
Yeah. All right. Jen says she said a bunch. I don't know. Trevor, are you guys having a conversation? Because I don't want to read your entire conversation. Let me just.
Yeah, most of it was just us conversing.
Okay. All right. I'll read her last comment then. Jesus was mad, flipped tables in his father's house. Others didn't man up on the issue. Jesus did. There you go. All right. Let's see what Jesse Peterson here says.
And you wouldn't feel a thing, you wouldn't miss them, it would be nothing to you. But because you have anger, you're hurt. It's crazy to be emotional too. We'll talk about that another day. But you're hurt because the person want to leave you. Does that make sense? If somebody don't want to be with you, they don't want to be with you. What's wrong with you that you have to hurt because somebody don't want to play with you anymore? If you don't want to play, you don't want to play. Fine. That makes sense? But you cry and you fight, and then you go to the jobs and break out the windows of the cars. I used to drive up and down Pacific Coast Highway. When my woman gonna leave me, I would be feeling so bad. I would get in my car on a Sunday afternoon, because Sunday afternoon is really nice. Or sometimes Saturday.
Jen says, or get them fired.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And I would put on soul music. Groovy on a Sunday afternoon. Or I would play She Gone, I better let her face it. I'd be crying all the way from Los Angeles to Santa Barbara. I was angry. I was insane. Really. I couldn't handle it. My emotion was hurt. And my imagination was running crazy. Because to imagine her being with someone else, I could not handle that. Isn't that crazy? I was retarded. But I didn't know I was retarded because everybody else was retarded. So I didn't know you could live a life without being retarded. Retardation. Can we say that word, James?
Can we say that?
Word. You don't say retarded anymore, right? You can hardly say homeless anymore. You gotta say unhoused. Like they don't have a bathroom to go to or something. But just think about if you're angry, you're mentally ill. And the problem is with you. What's wrong with you that you're not a whole person, that this person come in and fulfill your life? Or at least pretend to. Or you think he or she died. Think about that. And so what made me think about this right now is we were doing this man on the street yesterday, and I don't want to give you everything, but one thing we were talking about was White History Month. And I ran into a lot of blacks up there, and I was surprised because it was a white, used to be white area. And nearly all of the blacks, and maybe all, but I don't remember, they said no to White History Month. They're like, we have white history every day. And then I asked, do you love the white people? No. Why? Because they enslaved us. Because of racism. They enslaved us. And these people like young people, like early 20s, 30 it appeared. I'm like, and then I'm like, you gotta be crazy. In your early 30s, thinking that somebody enslaved you 150 years ago, and, and that impact your life now. Think about that. They're using that as an excuse not to be free. The white man enslaved us, and nobody knew anything about slavery. And so I'm like, where did you get that from? They taught us that in school. This is why you shouldn't send your children to a public school system. Why would you teach your children that you can't make it in life because of something that happened 150 years ago? Even the slave people weren't that mad about it. They love Mr. Charlie. I remember whenever my master said he was sick, I grew up on a plantation, for those who don't know. When my master said he was sick, I was like, yes, master, we sick. Because my grandparents who worked on the plantation, ran the plantation, they weren't mad at the white man. I'm sure there were some things they disagreed with, but they didn't raise us up to be mad about it. They taught us to work, treat everybody the same, and they were good and bad and all human beings. And so I didn't know to be mad at the white man until I moved to California. And then I listened to these stupid black leaders. They were lying to me, and I was so young. But you don't need to be angry, folks. Nobody, male or female, can hold you back in life. That's a false idea. There's nothing that you want to do in life that you can't do. It's up to you. But you got to drop the anger, because anger makes you think you can't. Anger separates you from God. You can read the Bible about God. You can talk about God. You can be one of the little prophet people go out on the street about God. You can be everything, know the Bible, raise up holy hand. And
Okay, there is one qualifier I do want to add to that. It's not that anger separates you from God. It is bitterness. There is a difference between those two. It's actually quite important concept, the difference between anger and bitterness. It's okay to react in anger if it's appropriate. You need to do something specific, but you got to let it go. You can't stay mad.
So
And
if you hang on to the anger, it becomes bitterness.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll fester, become an infection.
I would argue that once you have the anger, you let it go, and then you just see a necessary thing that you need to do, a corrective action, right? But you don't do it in anger because you've already seen the anger and let it go.
I think it's fine, yeah. And
So you're not reacting in anger.
Yeah, like maybe reacting in anger is a bad way to put it. Like, you are supposed to have a reaction as a result of your anger. Like, an emotion fundamentally is a prompting that you need to do something. It's like an alarm bell. It's a compass, not a map.
Okay.
You know? So you've got this alarm bell that's flashing that's telling you need to take an action. You need to decide, you need to be able to create enough distance to decide what that action is. Then you take the action and you let the emotion go. That's how it's supposed to work, particularly if anger.
You don't think you should let the emotion go before you take the action?
I think if you can, that's fine. I think that's kind of negligible. It's just once it's done, it needs to be done. It's like, I love those old John Wayne sketches. You remember The Searchers?
No.
Movie by John. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. John Ford. But there's this scene where...
It's my uncle.
Different John Ford. Just different John Ford. But there's this scene in there where the guy gets back from looking for his sister. And his sister, his fiancée, hasn't waited on him. And he pulls into town to find her about to marry another dude. Well, he gets mad, marches in there, and him and the other dude get into a fight. But before they get into a fight, they do this whole chivalry code thing. You know what I mean? They like take off their jackets and hold each other's jackets and hang each other's jackets up for them. It's a comical scene because they're being all kind to each other, right before they duke it out. And then they duke it out and they're expected to take hands. It's one of the best lines of the movie because the girl's all wringing her hands over it. And she looks at John Wayne and goes, "Oh, stop him, John, stop him." And he's like, "Why? You started it." It's such a good line. I love that movie. But the point is, you fight when it's necessary. And when the fight's done, you go have beer and sandwiches. That used to be an ethic in this country.
Right. Yeah. Most kids like fist fights that I've seen, the boys get in fights and they punch each other and then they become best friends.
And that's how it's supposed to work, actually. That's how it's supposed to be. So, but when it becomes bitterness, that's when you get separated from God. And, the reason is God forgave you for every stupid thing you've ever done. But, if you don't forgive somebody else, He's not going to answer your prayers. You're going to be held accountable for the same criterion you've held against other people on the day of judgment. That will turn around and bite you in the hind end. So bitterness is anger, is bad. And for example, it's the way emotions work is there's a response that's appropriate, but if you don't respond to things appropriately and you let it fester, then it becomes a perversion. So this thing with Dr. Brown in the previous episode is a perfect example of that too. If Dr. Brown had just been attracted to the girl and said, "Oh my goodness, she's really pretty," and framed however he interacted with her as appreciating her beauty or something, and chose to keep that a distance that way, it would have been fine. Instead, he starts ruminating about all the things he can do with her.
Right.
So there's those emotions present a fork in the road, and there's a right way to respond and a wrong way to respond. And one of the reasons I get so angry with
hold up. Wouldn't responding be he had that thought, right? But if he just ignored it and said, "Okay, cool, yeah, it's a pretty girl," and then just let it go, there's no action taken.
Well, he could have been super nice to her. He could have done other things.
Treated her like everybody else.
Or treated her like everybody else. I mean, it'd been fine. But there's a difference between appreciating beauty and letting it go, and then just constantly ruminating and thinking about horrible encounter or dark encounters, let's say, with that person. So, but there's a right way to deal with emotions and a wrong way to deal with emotions, and they're just like alarm bells that tell us that there's something that should be done. We have to decide what we need to do. Where people get into trouble is they start trying to repress it or, pretend like it isn't there, and then it kind of becomes a seed, and that seed becomes a weed, and it just kind of gets out of control, and you're constantly playing whack-a-mole with this impulse that you haven't actually filtered out. So it's kind of my thought process on it.
You don't think it's because you're identifying with it? You have the thought, then you identify with it, so it becomes an emotion, and then once you have the emotion, you physically project that emotion.
See, that's the thing is I don't know enough to disagree with you. That's just not how I frame it. You know what I mean? When I'm talking about an emotion or something, it's almost like an errant thought. I'm not even sure it's mine. For all I know, something outside of me could be giving it to me. But I'm being called to respond appropriately. It's the devil and the angel archetype on my shoulder. The emotion is that potential temptation, as it were, and there's a right way and a wrong way to respond to it. So I don't know if you want to call it identifying with the emotion, I don't see anything wrong with that. I almost look at it more like a hypothesis being presented to you that you have to respond to. And there's a right way and a wrong way to respond. But as far as identifying with it, I don't know enough about that framework to even really disagree. Does that make sense?
Well, identify. I mean, what I mean by identify is just once you have the thought and you say that's my thought, that came from my brain, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Once you have a thought, and then when you identify with it, you're saying that's me, right?
Okay.
That
I think I understand
input
what you're saying.
came from
Yeah.
me
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying.
when it didn't.
I think I get what you're saying. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think that there's a helplessness with assuming that every thought is you.
Yes, absolutely.
You learn a helplessness when you do that, and rather than saying you can control your mind, and you can kind of respond appropriately or inappropriately to a thought, rather than think like, it's like, I think I understand what you're saying. Like I have this worldview thing where it's like the devil and the angel on your shoulder. You've got thoughts, competing impulses in your head, and then you have a governor above that's choosing between the two. That's kind of my outlook of the brain. But some people think that their thoughts are just them. And so if you have like a perverted fantasy, some people think that, oh my gosh, I had a perverted fantasy.
Right.
And because I think I understand what you're saying, they start to identify with that fantasy because they've accepted it as them.
Right.
Yeah, I think that you should reject that notion.
So I guess the most important thing for me is like looking at that observer, or not the observer, that
the governor above the thoughts.
The governor above the thoughts. He's less of a judge and more of an observer. So he's just seeing the things happening.
Yeah, I would understand that as your soul.
Cool.
Like that's like the real you. That governor above your thoughts is the real you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So just observe the thoughts, see that they're there, and take no action with them. Or you don't need to feel them because there's no point.
You don't have to accept them as you.
Yeah.
They're just something that's being delivered to your brain, I guess. So, yeah, I think that's a more accurate way to understand it. So I think we're saying the same thing. It's just nomenclature is different.
Yeah.
Sounds like. So, yeah.
Cool, man.
Cool beans. Yeah.
At least.
Well, is there any other final thoughts on the subject?
Nope. Just why does Jen hate Tom Cruise? Never liked him either. Nobody likes Madonna or Tom Cruise. What the?
I have heard of the Paul Harvey skit from If I Were the Devil.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Paul Harvey's great to listen to.
Yeah, he is.
I kind of wish he had I wish he would have recorded the Gospels before he died.
That would have been nice. That would have been nice. Yeah. Well, boys and girls, I think we're done for the evening.
All right.
Jen, thanks for coming back. It's always great to have you.
Thanks for hanging out.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jen.
Guys, we are finished for the evening. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you next time. Adios.
See you later.
See ya.
See ya, Jen.